Good morning, YouTube. Yep, you read that title right. I quit. I had enough of the factory work. This is now my full-time job. The boat, guided fishing trips, social media. That's what I do. There's only so much a guy can take. But we're going to be tying up some 64th ounce jigs. We're going to be using to dock shoot crappie at Lake of the Ozarks. Come along. Let's tie some of these up, see how they come out. And we'll just talk about everything that's been going down. All right, so in the peak vise, we're going to put that little bitty 64th ounce crappie jig. And the cool thing about tying these is you're not going to go through a whole lot of material. And that is purple. It don't really look like it. I got the camera turned around so I don't get a good view of what I'm tying when the camera's forward facing. But let's start, put it in a vise. We're going to brush on our Sally Hansen's, and I'm going to show you how simple these little dock shooting jigs can be. Using our loon bobbin with the ultra thread 210 denier. 210's probably pushing it on this. If you're going to be dock shooting, you might want to go to a little smaller diameter thread, or not dock shooting, but if you're going to be tying these really small ones up, you might want to go with a little thinner thread, maybe. All right, so let's get started. Right behind the head. And that, like I said, is the best thing about tying these little bitty ones. You're not going to go through very much material. We're going to take two little chartreuse hackle feathers that I got from Moose Tackle on Facebook. Y'all might want to check him out. I'm going to take these two little bitty pieces right here and I'm going to stack them together. And I'm going to go down length of the jig. No matter how big of a jig I'm tying, I'm usually doing the length of the jig head, hook, and probably about a half. And we're going to take those two little bitty pieces of hackle right there, and we're going to just tie them right in the back. Just like that. Chanel-less bodies, you can do Chanel. By all means, you can put Chanel on these. We're going to go in here, and I'm going to snip out a V right there, just like this. I'm just going to take my scissors, I'm going to separate some fibers right there, and I'm going to cut those little V's out. I don't do this a whole lot, but these little bitty jigs, when you tie those two feathers on there, you're going to have an open spot back here in the back, and that's where I'm going to put those two little bitty V's at. And I'm going to stack those together just like that. We're going to tie it in. We're going to tie probably all last 4 or 5 of this color I got on YouTube and switch to a different one, and that's where all those little extra feathers you got left over, those pieces, this is where I use them at. Now right there, that's it. That jig's done. A little small for dock shooting, but it will work. 4-pound line, 6-pound line, good flimsy rod. Oh, get the UV box up and rolling. Should already had it warmed up. Put a little bit of UV resin on it. We'll call it done. So, being that I quit my normal full-time job, went to doing this, I'll probably be taking custom orders, some stuff like that. Mainly, I'll be doing most of my focus on the guided fishing trips. So, if you're watching this and you're interested in it, get a hold of me. Now's perfect time. Well, actually, the next couple weeks, or the next week for sure, is going to be kind of rough. Because all it is supposed to do, from what I've seen, the next 7-day forecast is rain. It's supposed to rain today. Today is, what is today? Today is May 2nd. But yeah, I had enough of the factory life. It was 30 years of doing that. Man, just had enough. If you work in a factory or you're young and you're just now starting in a factory, don't fall into that trap. Don't go in so far in debt that you're stuck in places you can't get out of. And that's what happens to most people doing that. Exactly what happened to us. get in debt over your head, and the only way you got to get it out is to work for somebody else. Then there's other traps along the way that get you stuck into, feed you, decent healthcare insurance benefit package and a little better than what most places are paying, and you're stuck. You can't get out. But that's what happened, and that's what's going on now. No. But see, these jigs are simple. They're easy. And if you're tying for yourself and you're making them for yourself, you can afford to lose these, because you can go right back to tying them up, and you can tie them up pretty much with scrap feathers. Leftover feathers. I'm going to say scrap, but y'all know what I'm talking about. There it is. That's number 2. I'm telling you, you just pump these out. Keep them moving. This is in order to go into Lake of the Ozarks to do some dock fishing. And I think these will work fine. He was really happy before with the purple and the yellows, so I made sure he got plenty of purple and yellow in this. I done 10 of them 16th and 10 of them 64th, the exact same colors. And then we'll do some silver ones. We'll do some flashy ones and stuff that'll get those crappies' attention when I just cut those feathers. I ain't got that jig head ready. Something that'll get those fish attention when it falls and hits that dock and starts going underneath the water. That's what you're looking for on this. You're looking for the reaction bite. And if you've ever dock fished Lake of the Ozarks, you'll know once you get one feeding that it'll kind of turn into a feeding frenzy, and you'll get all the rest of them underneath that dock doing the exact same thing, looking and going after what you're throwing underneath there. Purely a reaction bite. Purely, the fish sees it. It's not supposed to be there. Prime time right now to be dock fishing those shooting docks at Lake of the Ozarks. But like I said, you got a custom order you want me to work on, hit me up. We'll do it. I'm going to do some product reviews today. I got a product review I want to do. Actually, maybe a couple of them here on YouTube. That's it. You see how fast these go. Nothing to them. A lot of these jigs that are made for shooting docks, what's going to end up happening to them anyway? Yep. You're going to lose them. Eventually, you're going to lose them. They come out good. I love the way these come out. And that's a catchy jig. You got dark color and a bright color all in one. And I think when I get ready to do the silver ones, I think the silver ones are going to pop a little bit better. So let's zoom out and go back out. I like the way the bike's holding that one. 2 more after this one. Let's see if we can do them all on video. Let's get them all done. So like I said, if anybody's interested, crappie fishing trip on Palm de Terre Lake. If I can get the walleye figured out on Stockton, I might even start doing walleye trips on Stockton. I went to Stockton yesterday. Lake is 7 foot high. Just got through with all those big torrential rains. I mean, pour down rains. I don't think it's rained that hard here in over a year. I mean, that's the truth too. Lake was 7 foot high. So I knew I wasn't going to go to Palm de Terre. So I went to Stockton, knowing Palm de Terre was going to be a muddy mud hole, debris floating down it. That's the reason I didn't go to Palm de Terre yesterday. That's the reason I didn't do a Palm de Terre Lake fishing report. Get to Stockton, and I go as close to the dam as I can get, knowing that water at Stockton's going to be kind of muddy. I go as far to the dam as I can put in. I put in there, And I promise you, there was a little bit of debris floating in it. Nothing bad, nothing horrible. But I promise you, you could see 15 foot down. Still, after all those rains, that lake was crazy clear. I did that YouTube short yesterday, that white bass swimming back down the water. I was on Stockton, and if it hadn't been for the glare on the water and me and the camera, I bet I watched that fish swim 15, 20 foot down. So I knew then that when I got there, I knew I made a mistake. I should have went to Palm de Terre. Should have put in as close to the dam at Palm de Terre as I could have. But I wasn't seeing any good fishing reports yesterday at Palm de Terre, so I don't know if people were catching them or not. And some people might have been catching them with live scope. I know I've seen a couple pictures of some limits, but I know those guys were using live scope, so I don't use live scope. I don't have it. I've got nothing against anything Garmin. I just don't have that on my boat. But sometimes those fishing reports, I take those with a grain of salt, because I'd rather get a fishing report from somebody that was beating the water down for them, if you know what I mean. I don't know if that makes sense or not, but I would rather see a fishing report from somebody that was just rod and reel, maybe traditional sonar, side scan, down scan, something like that. But I don't take the live scope guys' fishing reports all that good. I'd rather find somebody on Facebook that don't have forward facing sonar, and they'll say, hey, we did this today, we did that. And a lot of times I'll follow somebody else's fishing reports. A lot of my, well, I don't want to say a lot, but some of my fishing will be from what I'm seeing from other people on Facebook posting. And I hope that's what people were getting out of my fishing reports too. I use maps and traditional sonar or down scan more than I probably use anything. I'll go sometimes where I'm using a lot side scan, but most of mine's traditional sonar and mapping. I still look for the old stuff, the break lines, the humps, river channels. That's the way I fish. Like I said, I got nothing against Garmin, live scope, active target, any of that. I like the way I fish. I like fishing like the way I do, and I don't want to give that up. And I think most people that have gone out with me, I think they appreciate that aspect of it too, that we're kicked back, we're enjoying the day, we're catching some fish and moving back and forth, changing scenery up. So if you do book a trip with me, just keep in mind that I don't have forward facing sonar. But I usually try to make the trip as enjoyable as I can. We usually, excuse me, we usually end up catching fish. Kind of an odd video. I don't normally do them like this. But I know a lot of people were asking questions about seeing me do things at times when I was normally at work, but this now is my work. Time jig, social media, and got fishing trips. We're in the month of May, getting close to the blue cats getting ready to spawn, so I see a couple trips here within the next week or two, going to trimming and trying to catch some blues before they go on the nest. We always make a couple trips there every year doing that. Last one right here. I might come right back on. I might do another video doing the silver ones, maybe get zoomed in on it, all that good stuff. So, like I said, don't throw away your scraps. Even though you see me use a lot of tips right there, you don't have to use tips on these. You can use the scraps of your feathers on these jigs. There you go. Last one. So like I said, if you want to book a trip with me, send me a message. Facebook Messenger is the easiest way to get a hold of me. If you send me a message on here and you don't have Facebook or you don't have none of that, I won't send you my phone number. But that's what we tied up today. Lake of the Ozarks slab catching, dock shooting jigs. We'll be back later. Thanks, guys. Like, share, subscribe, and send me some comments so I got something to read when I get up in the morning. That's the first thing I do when I get up every morning is I turn my laptop on. I start going through social media. I start trying to answer as many questions as I can, and then start trying to get to work. And I really wish there wasn't a chance to rain today, because I'd go back to palm care without a doubt. See you guys. Be ready for the next video coming up here shortly.